Hey, we're live. I love being live. Hello. I love being alive and I love being live. It's Infiniti. It is 6 p.m. here on June 20. What is it? 28th of June? Amazing. 28th of June, 6 p.m. Pacific. Coming to you from Northern California in the Mount Shasta area. It is hot here. It's probably hot where you are if you're in the northern. I can't talk yet. I'm not fully docked, I guess. Here in the we already got bloopers and outtakes, people. Okay. Here in the northern hemisphere. There, I got it out. Wowza. Yeah, it's the summertime. It's the end of June, you guys. We're almost at July. It's amazing. Who is with me? Welcome. Welcome to the, I almost said my old podcast name. Welcome to the We Are Healing live podcast with Infiniti. I'm Infiniti, your soul family. Thanks for being here with me. I love you already. This is a sacred space of love and what I like to call infinite silliness. I'm super duper connected with my divine inner child, and I like to have a good time, have a lot of fun, a lot of laughs. And I invite you to participate. I set these up, and I was guided to set these up Fridays in the evening, 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern, even later if you're in the UK and beyond. I would like this to be a fun party atmosphere for us to get together, hang out, chill out. And today I have a really exciting, fun topic that has become a real passion of mine. And I'm really excited to get into it. But I will let you know, if you don't comment on YouTube or on Facebook, I don't know that you're here. I don't know who's here. I believe that on X, you can just watch. So I'm streaming live across the world into the infinite galaxies and universes on Facebook, on YouTube, and on X. And I'm new to X. I've only been there a little over a month, and I have grown to really dig it. I may even say I'm a wee bit addicted to X. It is what it is. It's a really cool place with a lot going on. I'm so stoked that I've been guided there. I'm really getting into it. I'm going to be more involved on X, creating my own spaces. I'll get into that here in a bit. Facebook, I've been on actively for just about a year. I was not on Facebook at all before that. I found it really difficult and toxic type of environment and energy. And it was just very overwhelming through the last 10, 15 years of my spiritual awakening and being so sensitive to energy and spaces. But everything changed last year, and I was guided to join Facebook. And hey, Jason, I was guided to join Facebook to connect with more people, different people, and see what could happen there. I really didn't know. So anyway, I'm on Facebook. Please follow me on Facebook if you have not followed me already, if you're watching me there. And then YouTube. This is my new YouTube channel specifically for the podcast. I do have another YouTube channel. Let me actually get that for you. It is called Infiniti, Infinite Empath Figurations. And if you're not subscribed to either one of my channels, please subscribe, because there's totally different things going on these channels. The Infiniti, Infinite Empath Transfigurations channel I have had for I don't even know how many years. It's been a while. It's been a hot minute since I've had this channel. Hey, Chris. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Welcome, Jason. Welcome, Chris. And everybody else that is here. Jason didn't say anything. I didn't get anything other than his name, so I know that he's there. Chris, Facebook is all crazy. Got to follow lots of dog groups. I am on it. Here's the problem though. A lot of groups don't let pages follow them or participate, or you can join, but you can't comment or anything. So you have to be a personal profile. And just so you all know, I don't do anything with my personal profile on Facebook. Literally never log into that account. I'm always on my page. I do everything from my page because it's just too much. I can't. And I don't want to copy everything that I do on my page to my profile, because what's the point of that? It's just stupid, I think. And I'm here in the capacity of spiritual work, not personal business, quite frankly. So anyhow, but this is my the link to my main channel on YouTube. If you don't already follow that channel or subscribe to that channel, please do. It's very old. It has a lot of stuff on it. I think it's got to be at least 7 years old, something like that. I have to go back and check it out. There's a lot on there. I haven't been as active on there, but when I am, I am. I do these walk and talks where I walk around the property with the dogs, and I just am guided to talk about a topic, and I do those. I do lives, I do events, I do all sorts of stuff. In fact, on Monday, I'm going to be coming to you on that channel, on the Infiniti Infinite Empath Transfigurations channel, on Monday, and here on Facebook and on X, 6 p.m. on Monday, July 1st, for the Soul Quest program webinar. I just finished setting that up right before this live. You should see that scheduled on not on X. You can't see scheduled stuff on X, but on YouTube and on Facebook. I'm going to be going over my Soul Quest program that I channeled the beginning of 2023. It's an amazing program that really gets deep inside what's going on with you, so you can do shadow work and really exponentially raise your vibration, eliminate fears and programs and illusions, connect to yourself, your true identity, and have really just a map of what you need to be doing as you move forward, however you're moving forward, whether you're working with me individually or in group or on your own. So I'm going to be getting into the Soul Quest program on Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific. Join me to learn all about it. We're going to dive deep. I did a few episodes ago talk about it a little bit and kind of share a little bit that it was going to be coming up, but that wasn't a webinar. This is going to be a webinar. We're really going to get into it. So please join me. You don't have to register. I make it really easy. I try to make everything as easy as possible because we're busy, and why overcomplicate stuff? Like, show up if you are interested, or watch the replays. The replays are going to be available, and I'm offering big discounts if you sign up and start with me when we launch on, when are we launching? The 15th of July. So there's that. So I hope you join me for that. Okay, so let's get into it. I want to welcome everybody again. Thank you so much for being here. Again, I'm Infiniti. I am a psychic physical empath, generational shaman, soul and ascension guide, quantum distance healer, all around woo lady. I've been woo my whole life. I started channeling and getting messages from Angelics and holding court for big rooms of people when I was 5 years old. I know it's really weird. It was what it was. It was the 70s. What can you say? You know, I was this kid who knew shit. And so people showed up to get readings from me. So I've been in the mystical and spiritual and metaphysical, tapped into all of that my whole life as a psychic physical empath, which I just figured out about 10 years ago. I can literally feel in my body what other people feel in their bodies. And I'm a medical medium, which means that I can get information and understanding what's going on in any individual body, including animal bodies. So I work with people all over the world to eliminate chronic pain and illness and general depression and stuckness. And a lot of my clients come to me literally at the end of the rope, at the end of the road, where they're really ready to give up. And luckily, I am connected the way I am, and to the divine energies, quantum on a really high level, and we get people really healthy here. I was guided to create, facilitate, and do this live podcast every single Friday live for maximum effect and potential participation with people being able to come and do interviews about healing, as a healer, or as somebody who's been healed, or as somebody holistic healing, or as somebody who is even skeptical about it, interested, but isn't quite sure what this is all about. This is the new way of being healthy in our lives, of taking care of ourselves in a way that is beyond normal medical ways of doing it, the procedures that we have in place, pharmaceuticals, and maintaining disease instead of curing it. Holistic healing is about working with the natural world and elements and divine beings, from Mother Earth GAIA, directly, energetically, spiritually, to her plant medicine and the elements, to energy work and everything in between. As I've stated, I'm a generational shaman. I was born in Colombia, and I come from a line of healers and shaman. And my grandfather, Colombian grandfather, was a parapsychologist. He started working with me, doing really fun things like astral projection and working with pendulums and all sorts of different psychic things, because I was already locked in that way. He was super, I made him really happy to be able to play with me in these ways. And I loved doing that. So while things didn't get really serious for me when it came to all this woo-woo business until about 10 years ago, when I healed myself and was guided to heal myself through a really spontaneous meditation that took me to a completely different dimension and had me understand why I was so sick all the time. I had been horribly uncomfortable and in pain my entire life in one way or another. We didn't know I was a psychic physical empath. Even today, people don't know what that is. And so back then, and my whole life, we didn't know. I just felt like utter crap all the time. Finally, in the early 90s, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. I fit all the criteria. And then that didn't do much, except for I was on more medication and tried to maintain things. And it was this and it was that. It was hell. I lived in hell, basic living hell, until right around the time when I was turning 39, 40, had this spontaneous visit. I was invited to a very high dimension and got all this information about me, just enough to get the ball rolling and to guide me to heal myself that very day of so much energy that was trapped in my body. It literally felt like gunk and tar, but I didn't have anything wrong with me anymore, physically, energetically. Now, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, I was confused, and it took quite a while to get things right. Well, here we are 12 years later. I've helped countless people by fractaling out my experience of divine healing, working with divine beings and energy in the body, and through practical application, because this is a world that we need to be practical and logical and level-headed and rational while we're moving forward spiritually and healing, ascending, growing more powerful in our energy. So there's some background about me if you are not aware, little cliff notes as to who I am, what I do. And as we get into this topic of the spiritual war and the importance of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. So here we go. 6:15 here. We've got people in the house. Again, let me know that you're here. Please interact with me. You're guided and encouraged. And I hope that you, I have dogs. I have animals that may distract me at some point. So just FYI. You're guided and encouraged to interact, to ask questions, to let me know that you have things to say. And if it doesn't get too late, you can even join me on stage. I am cool with that too. If it goes there, I'm open. I'm in flow with this. Okay, let's get into the subject. So a couple weeks ago, or was it? Yeah, I think it was a couple weeks ago. Yes, 2 episodes ago was my episode about the spiritual war. And I got into that deep. We talked about the light and the dark and energetic parasites, what a lot of people would consider demons, negative energy, and really what's going on in our world, the unseen of the light and the dark. Because we have the seen, what we can see, what we can experience, what we see as light, what we see as love, what we see as peace and kindness and unity. And then we have the dark side. And I really got into that quite a lot. And just this entire year, I've been guided to talk about it more because it needs to be out in the consciousness of humanity, really what's going on, what we feel, but we can't see, and what's been kept again in the behind the wall of the woo. And for people that are there, but not for everybody, because it's bad or it's wrong or it's not true, or it's for weirdos and crazies and con artists. I've been called all those things, but I have receipts to back up who I am and what I do. So people can say whatever they want. I deliver truth and message for the light. I am a divine, angelic incarnate. I came to understand that angelics can incarnate, not something that I always knew by any stretch of the imagination. Let me just say that. And accepting that realization for myself wasn't easy or a fast process. I rejected and resisted because that sounds crazy, right? But I came to understand with a lot of persistence from my spirit team, my guides and guardians, ultimately the high council of the divine high council of light. This is ascended masters, archangels, planetary beings and bodies, galactics, otherwise known as aliens, the fae and dragon beings. And it's filled with beings that we know of here in our 3D material world, much of which we either think is fantasy or not real, or was real, or might be real, or we can only tap in or know these things when we're not humans or whatever. Everybody has different ideas about this. My whole life didn't really give it all a whole lot of thought. I just experienced what I experienced, from channeling angels as a child to seeing apparitions from crossed over loved ones, to levitating as an 11-year-old. And the wild experiences I had as a pregnant mother, experiencing my super psychic, empath, divine incarnate, angelic child, not knowing the weird dynamics that we are in, and most importantly, the spiritual war that was in play. Because here's the thing, we do incarnate for a very specific reason, not only to experience chocolate cake, sex, and waterfalls, but we're here on a mission to set right the balance of energies and powers that are in this world that have taken over humanity, that has twisted this reality. And that's the influence of dark, negative energies. Many think that aliens, ETs are running the show, that there's reptilians, and all sorts of stuff. Usually aliens take the blame for a lot, that they're alien people, or yeah, that's usually it. Some people believe in demons and demonic energies and that sort of thing. The truth is, it's a little bit of everything that's going on, but galactics, all galactics are with us and for us and support us. And if they wanted to harm us and hurt us, trust me, they would have. That's just a fact. They're interdimensional. They've always been here. They'll always be here. They're beyond our sight. But for the most part, so there's that. And then we have angelics. So just to go back though, galactics, just like angelics, can incarnate. They're known as star seeds. So most people, for whatever reason, if you're kind of tapped into the spiritual world, the conscious, what we call spiritually awoken, and there's different levels of being awake. There's this whole wokeness and people being awake, and people talking about like, I woke up to what's going on. A lot of people that talk like that are waking up to the truth of the matrix, and how there's so many systems in play that are illusions, and we in a lot of ways are being controlled and manipulated in our reality with our perception and perspectives on what is real, what is not, and so on. And then we have the next level, which is spiritually awakening. When you are at a level of consciousness where you start to then understand things in a spiritual sense, that there is a consciousness to our world, to Gaia. By the way, and unless you don't know, I channel all divine beings and ascended masters, including Gaia herself. She's actually what I call the showrunner of much of what I've done for the last 10, 12 years. I also didn't think ever about our world having an actual consciousness. That just never occurred to me until I woke up, and until she actually came to me and said, we're going to work together and we're going to help heal people individually and humanity as a whole. And I was like, come again? What are we doing? I didn't know what that meant. I had no idea. But ultimately that meant helping people connect to themselves, heal themselves energetically, and work with her, the natural world and the elements and divine beings beyond her. So we work as a team, ascended masters, and guardian angels and archangels and galactics and fae and dragon and all these beings that exist. I work with in a very deep and intense way, for lack of better words. Again, not something that I ever thought, like, let me just put it this way for people to understand. If you were to tell me 15 years ago that this would be what I do, and this is my life, and these are my abilities and my gifts, and this is who I am, a divine angelic incarnate, I would be worried for you. I would think you're nuts. So if anybody here watching thinks I'm crazy for thinking what I'm saying and being who I am, I fully understand that. I get that. I'm not here to convince you of anything that I do or that I am. If you're meant to know and be in this world and experience the things that I message and channel and offer and facilitate and the ways that I do things, you'll know. It just is what it is. Like I said, I have receipts from people transforming and making their own connections. I've always been empowered to help people grow and evolve and come into their power step by step, day by day, and being serious about that. We have a finite amount of time here to maximize these incarnations, to fulfill our soul and life purpose. So I don't stop to help to try to convince anybody, because it's a very personal thing, the spiritual awakening business, and how that changes you, how that completely changes you. Another thing I want to put up that I'm being guided to put here is the link to my Medium profile, where I have a long and big, robust library of articles about spirituality and ascension, including about different events throughout the year and different channelings that I've done. I channel either live, just sitting here with my voice. I've done that for years. That's on that channel that I told you about. You can go back and get into the archives there of me doing live channelings. It's what we call now spirit walks. Those are astral guided, channeled, self-healing meditations. So that encompasses what is called a spirit walk, because we're astrally projecting and working in higher dimensions with very high level divine beings. And there's many of those there. You can check them out. I did them for full moons and new moons for a long time, and other galactic events and stargates and things like that. So there's articles about that, and many, many articles on my Medium about ascension and all the different processes and changes and all sorts of stuff for you to dive into. And I encourage you to do that if you are a spiritual person, especially if you're an empath, if you know you're on this, and if you're here and this is brand new to you, then welcome to this world, the world of spirituality, ascension, and deep spiritual connections. It's a whole world within our world that people who are not spiritually awoken really don't know about. I didn't know about it until I woke up and I was guided to it, and it was a whole thing going on that I didn't know anything about. So it's been quite a journey for me to be at the place that I am now. I'm going to be 52 this year, and I am so grateful and blessed for my life as a divine incarnate. Every time I meet with somebody, I help them. I help heal them and change their lives. I feel so lucky and so blessed because they are liberated and free of the things that have been holding them back, the energetic beings and parasites and stuck overloaded energy that makes us sick, that keeps us down, that confuses us mentally, emotionally, physically, energetically, spiritually, abundantly. And when we shift all of our energy, move out negative, bring in positive, we're a different person. And so our reality shifts because of that. And I also help people through that process because it can be quite jarring and overwhelming and disruptive. So with all of that said, I'm creating the backdrop for the rest of what I want to get into here with the spiritual war and Robert. As all of us know, there has been a lot of wild shit going on in the world in the last, especially 4 years since the pandemic. That was a major and massive paradigm and reset for humanity. It forced a lot of spiritual awakenings, a lot of changes in our reality that I don't need to get into. You were there, you know what it did to you, and you know what it did to the people around you. It was a shift in consciousness on a global scale. Everybody woke up in different ways to different degrees, but it was huge. And since then, because of that, the dark side has ramped up their efforts to keep us prisoners in our own bodies, consciously and physically and energetically and spiritually, because of this big shift in consciousness. This is when so many people went, wait a second, is this how this shit runs? What? And it just continued. More and more and more got revealed. More came to light. A spiritual awakening is coming to the light. And collectively, humanity came to the light. And there has not been a time in many, many, many millennia that anything like that has happened. So it was huge. And since then, it just got fractaled out in many different ways to cause separation, disruption, chaos, strife, and bring more, though, to light as well. And what's really important to understand is that in the spiritual war, we have the dark forces, and energetic dark parasites that use humans as hosts. This is what attributes to so much illness and disease, mentally, emotionally, and physically and energetically. And the normal way that people deal with that does not help and will never help. It will never get rid of it because it's unseen and invisible. And that, my friends, is the biggest weapon that the dark has, is their invisibility in a certain sort of way. Because we can see it and feel it in other ways, can't we? We can look at all sorts of people and all sorts of power, positions of power, from local on up to global, and see the darkness, see the manipulation, see how people are driven by power, greed, selfishness, and ultimately money. I posted on X recently, it was like, why does the government or whomever do whatever messed up things they do? The answer is money. Money is attached to a lot of fear. It's called the money wound. And people get triggered by money in various ways. It's one of the deepest, toughest things to heal that comes up again and 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 again with people. Because it's tied into so many systems of our survival and our comfort and our health. So that's a really, really big one. But we have parasites that manipulate us and literally can change our perception, can brainwash us, can literally rewrite history and stories. And this is what a narcissist is. A narcissist is a person with a parasite that's called the puppet master. It's what I've been guided to call it. It's actually what I was calling certain people before I knew anything. And then it just was like, oh, is that what they are? That's a puppet master. And this is a decently sophisticated, but most importantly to understand about the puppet master parasites, aka people that are narcissists, is that there is a lot of them. It's a pandemic of this situation, and I don't think that's breaking news either. What is breaking news is what exactly it is. Most people, 99% of the population, or 99.9999% of the population, don't know anything about this. I put out a video and it's called The Truth About Empaths and Narcissists, and how they're alike. And the reason why they're alike, and the reason why their magnets or their empaths are attracted to narcissists is that the truth is that narcissists were empaths that were taken over by these parasites by some event in their childhood, abuse, trauma, neglect, where the child was in fear. This parasite comes in and offers a level of strength and comfort and begins to work on that person and be with that person forever, unfortunately. But because of who they are, empath, light bodies, incarnates, they have a certain resonance no matter what that we as empaths are attracted to, because like is attracted to like. Unfortunately, that is the trap of the dark, and the whole reason why they do that to begin with, because once we get connected with narcissists, they deplete our energy, they mess with our worlds and our timelines, and things get really dark and abusive. And then we also will create more narcissists through coupling up with narcissists, and the whole process continues. We are unwitting and unwilling co-conspirators in our own prisons of limitation of our consciousness and of our health, quite frankly. And then we have parasites that are less sophisticated, that what I call the leechy parasites, that connect to our energy centers and make us sick in various ways because we're never in balance energetically. And people can have multiples of those. And up into very sophisticated parasites that can even move through time portals with people, which I just came to understand that in the last couple months, and make people believe all sorts of stuff. So when we think of people who have any type of psychosis, mental disturbances, they have a parasite that is influencing their reality and perception, period. When we eliminate that parasite, they don't have those problems anymore. Depression, anxiety, bipolar, schizophrenia, all of these are because of an energetic parasite. Your physical chronic illnesses are a combination of parasites and an overload of energy. And the dark side perpetuates all of this through injecting things that are bad for us on every level. Food, entertainment, and how they manufacture things to disrupt our bodies. Why would people do this? Because they're influenced by the dark side to make us and keep us sick and controlled and literally slaves to the matrix and against each other and apart from our own souls, and unifying as a race, as one race, the human race, not divisions of ethnicities and geography and religion. That's another dark side, twisted up material matrix indoctrination that keeps people limited. So on so many levels, the spiritual war and the dark side manipulate reality. Okay, so we'll get back to that, I'm sure. We're going to weave in and out of that. But let's talk about the light. The light is stronger than the dark. Always has been, always will be. We have vibration and frequency. Dark is low, light is high. Easy peasy. So we can very much overpower and eliminate darkness. It's not, and dark entities and parasites, it is not that difficult for divine angelics to come in and transmute that energy, but it needs to all happen consciously, and to a certain degree. The light is always guiding us. We have divine counterparts. We have literal guardian angels. They're real. Everybody has them, at least one. Like the guardian angel that's always with you, was with you when your soul sparked, whatever that soul spark was, and will always be with you. That is a function of what Mother, Father, God does for us as souls, to have a guide, a guardian, a chaperone, a protector, always with us. We are unconsciously connected to them. One of the first things that I work with people when they start getting into this world is to connect with their guardian angels, because literally it's so important. We're not meant to be confused, in pain, feel alone, be desperate, be depressed, have anxiety, worry. None of that stuff is normal. We're supposed to be secure and feel supported and loved and have clarity about who and what we are and what we're doing here. Most people don't have that. When you start connecting with your divine counterparts, you start having that more and more and more and more, because you're consciously connecting, asking questions, getting answers. And what's really fun after a while is them just clearly coming through and guiding you in your day-to-day life. That's what I've got going on. That's what several of my clients have going on. And it is a totally different reality when you're working with divine beings on a moment-to-moment basis. Aside from that, the light are connected to everything that's beautiful with art and creation. When you hear artists who write or paint or do music or anything, any type of creation is inspired by divine energies. We are divine beings created to create, and we're supported in that spiritually, deeply. It's just most of the time people are not conscious of that. They're just in the creative zone where time doesn't mean anything. You can ask a painter, like, how long have you been painting here? Oh, I don't know, 8, 10, 12 hours? I'm just in the zone. How long have you been writing? Same thing. What drives you to make that movie or write that book or whatever? I don't know. I just have to do it. It needs to come out of me. I was inspired. You see where I'm getting at with this? This is divine intervention. This is your divine counterparts using you, using us to put out into the world what we need to have as tools, as information. Most of it is covert. Most of it is not on the surface what you would think is brought to you by divine beings through an incarnate divine being, but it is. Subconsciously, we see things, we recognize things. Our soul recognizes things vibrationally, and by, visually. And what's really cool is that we have these multiple lifetimes, these what we call, reincarnations, where we not only can incarnate here upon Gaia, Mother Earth, but in many other places throughout creation. And we're always connected to those other incarnations, and we can bring in and tap into those other lifetimes and that awareness and those abilities and gifts. I was always into art in this incarnation, but I was never an artist until I was. And now I can really do art. Pencil art. I love doing animals mostly, but that was a downloaded ability once I really started waking up, as an example. That is something that absolutely happens. And when we heal in this incarnation, whatever wound it may be, we heal in all incarnations, and that energy loops through our soul back here, making us stronger here, making us stronger in all of our divine instances, wherever we happen to be. Our soul is the nucleus, and then we have our lifetimes that sprout out from that. Hey, Karen and Adrian. Hello, loves. Welcome. Everybody's so shy tonight. But thank you all for being here. So the light works to maneuver divine incarnates subconsciously, just like the dark does. And the war is the light activating divine incarnates and all of humanity to wake up and be conscious. And the dark is to oppose that. It's very simple. And we can see, especially in the last several years, even before the pandemic, but definitely since then, there has been a lot of shenanigans going on around the world in different ways that fear is injected into the collective. Because aside from invisibility that the dark has, and let me just segue here and say that if people could see these parasites, this would be a whole new world. A whole new world. Because you can see them. The puppet master that I talked about, it sits on people's shoulders. It's not pretty. It's not. I can see them. I can see all of them. Sometimes I wish people could see them, but then it would be utter chaos. Got to take these little steps here, but take my word for it. If we could see them, it would be different, because people would then know, oh, look at that thing attached to that person. But when you start to get conscious of these things and start to connect what you see and what you experience with adding the layer of that's something else controlling this person, it's not them. They are possessed. There's just levels of possession. It's a rainbow of delight when it comes to possession. It's not, the exorcist all the time. That's like way off the charts. That's real, but that's way off the charts. Very, very uncommon. Because why does you can see the dark then. The dark doesn't want to be seen. That's some nasty demon shit gone rogue, because that's not something that the dark as a whole like. They like to stay invisible. So they'll have us do crazy shit like shoot up a school, stab a little kid in the grocery store, kill your entire family, hide important information about products and food, or all sorts of things, create wars. I mean, they can do quite a lot. And the thing is that the person who's possessed has no idea they're possessed, but they are. If you are not in control of your mind, emotions, and body and energy, then what is? That's the question nobody ever asks. What is then in control of somebody who's out of control? What is that addiction? What makes a person go, I want to stop. I want to stop. I want to get healthy. I want to be with my family. I don't want to be a fuck up. I don't want to hurt people. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this alcohol, this crank, this blow, this Molly, this whatever it is. Doesn't matter. I don't want to anymore. But I'm out of control. I don't know how to not, because something comes over me, right? How many times have we heard that? And by the way, I only have one heart this whole time. Come on, people, give me some love. Hearts and likes would be nice. Just saying. But you get my drift about this. Anybody that has any kind of addiction, from gambling to food to shopping to drugs and alcohol and anything in between. Oh yeah, sex. There's one for you. Whew. There is another thing that is controlling that behavior. There's a person who has a parasite that is forcing them to do dark shit, to hurt themselves and others, creating negative energy, which is what the dark feeds off of. That's all they want. Suppression of the light and to feed off of our negative energy. There's nothing juicier than a little beautiful, divine, incarnate child, pure soul, never hurt anything, brand new to the world, being abused. It takes that energy and it twists it. Same thing with animals. There's so many instances of the dark creating more darkness, more toxicity, more anxiety, more stress, and more fear. And just churn it and churn it and churn it. We have it it's the world over. Because I know that's where people are going, like, well, then where is it? What? But I want you to just take a step back and remember what I said. The light is stronger than the dark, for sure. And if this was as out of control and the light wasn't as present as we are, this would be so much worse. Like, you don't even know how much worse. Michelle, you're in 2 places. Hi. You're watching me on TV, YouTube. Oh, very cool. I love it. Hearts were on X. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate the hearts. I do love the love. The exchange of energy is always nice, people. It also helps the algorithm. The more likes, the more comments, the more engagements you give this and any of my lives helps more people see it and engage and get in the know, quite frankly. So I appreciate all the engagement that you can possibly give and to share this live or the replay after we're done. Okay, so I'm so glad you're here, Michelle. Again, Karen and Adrian, Chris. But why incarnate into a situation with a high chance of getting a parasite? Well, I don't know. Why does a Marine go into war with the chance of possibly dying? Same thing. Or any other soldier, right? Because it's war. And we need to win the war. And the only way to win the war is to incarnate. We cannot do it just all being on the other side. Most people don't know that there's another side. So if it was just humans that weren't incarnates, then it would be the absolute chaotic shit show that they really want it to get to. All the people in power that try so hard to control us, to oppress us, to manipulate us, to regulate us, to instill anger and fear and for us to feel judgment and anything like that, any kind of anything, are people that are working most of the time totally, they don't know what they're doing. They're just doing, and their parasites justify everything that they do. It brainwashes them to do that. They're literally like, people are afraid of AI. No, don't be afraid of AI. In fact, off topic a little bit, Gaia, Mother Earth, is all about technology. She fully supports technology, and technology, by the way, is actually natural. And so is AI. We cannot be where we are today, spiritually speaking, evolving, ascending, connecting, getting more conscious without the mechanism of technology in this day and age. It's all about that. You cannot be hearing me right now. You wouldn't know I existed if it wasn't for technology. Gaia fully supports it, and any of the negative is again dark side, controlled. And it's up to us how we use technology, how, just like it's up to us how we use, a knife or a hammer or fire or anything that can sustain us or destroy us. But the question Chris had, a very, very great question. Why incarnate? Because we're that's what we do. We are meant to help humanity ascend. And the only way to do that is to go through the whole thing of being born and having our own experience, and eventually, hopefully, not getting a parasite, fighting that off. And that's just part of it. And then it's awakening. And then it's not being scared of who and what we are. I mean, the odds are not great. But even if divine incarnates don't awaken spiritually, and there's so many that haven't yet, they're still really great people doing really amazing things in the world and are cycling a shit ton of love into the collective and are doing really, really remarkable, beautiful things. Even if they don't know that they're on a mission, they're on a mission. We can ultimately be extraordinarily powerful as divine incarnates. It just takes time. It takes time to first get healed of whatever it is we need to heal from. That takes time. And in the meantime, we're growing exponentially. I wasn't always a quantum distance healer, a medical medium, and all the other things that I am. I literally lose track of all the things that I can do. Because I wasn't, while I was connected and I was a divine incarnate and I had certain things go on, I wasn't in control. I wasn't conscious. I didn't have any, I was just trying to survive. I was sick most of my life. I was on disability. I was a complete disaster. It was bad. I had 7 near-death experiences. I've been experiencing a shit ton of opposition my entire life. had no idea what was going on. The stories I could tell of my wild and wacky life and the crazy shit I've experienced before I woke up. And then since then, because you don't just wake up and become conscious and understand that you're this divine incarnate on whatever you happen to be, and the spiritual war goes away and everything is hunky-dory. No, it just changes. And there's still all of it to contend to, especially if you're really high level working out in the open, like I am. It's been quite a ride. But there's no other thing that we need to be doing other than awakening, healing, connecting, getting clarity, embodying our souls, and co-creating whatever it is that we're meant to co-create and collaborate and to change this world and paradigm. And with that said, let me see. Before whoopsie, I saw that we have more comments here. Nicole, my love. Yes, ma'am. Been there and completely understand everything you just said. Thank you. I married a narcissist, and like you said, our son is another narcissist. Yes, I have that situation myself with my son too. I speak from experience, and it sucks. Yeah. And that's not to say that they're, the light can't come in enough that there can't be an event that gets them really conscious and aware, and that they can call in the light and seek the light. And I can get rid of a narcissist puppet master parasite. The problem is the puppet master parasite convinces them that it doesn't exist. And so what do you do with that? I need the person to be a participant. If I could just willy-nilly sweep the world of all of the parasites, trust me, I would have a long time ago. I could get onto other shit in my life, but it just doesn't work that way, but I mean, there's always that room for hope, but at the same time, we can't hold ourselves back because other people were possessed, and there's nothing we can do for those people. The only thing we can do is save ourselves and remove ourselves from the situation, which really sucks. But what sucks worse is to be held back by being attached to the dark in these ways, because they really mess with us and deplete us and cause a shit ton of chaos and low vibes. And the name of the game is to be as high vibrational as possible, because when you are above the current of negative energy. And when you are, that means that you have healed from wounds and fears. This is a fear-based material matrix that has been in play. A fear-based material matrix. So all of our fears are the weapons against us. And all of our fears, aside from like falling off a cliff or getting into a car accident or your house catching on fire, or, all of our fears are projections and illusions. Anxiety and stress are programs injected into the frequency of our energetic matrix. Just like we turn on a radio, and a song plays, the vibrations go through the atmosphere and we can hear them. The dark plays songs of fear injected into the atmosphere energetically, and people that are running those programs pick up on those frequencies, and it perpetuates the stress and the anxiety and the worry. You don't need to hear the song to dance by the song, especially if you have a parasite. So that's something to really understand and be aware of as well. I was controlled by a parasite, hurting myself and my family for years. Like you said, I wanted to stop hurting them, but I literally couldn't. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, keep going. Tell the story of how we got together and what we did together, love. People need to hear it. I appreciate any of my other clients that are here and watching, to share your experiences. For those that are new, for people to understand, so they're not just hearing it from me, would be great. There is also my website, as you can see from my name up here, infiniteempath.com. There's testimonials and a whole bunch of information about me, my miraculous story and journey, and my wild and wacky life. So what I was going to say was, all of this is to paint the picture, to get everybody really understanding what is going on in the world. When we think about politicians and systems and corporations that are corrupt and greedy and doing us dirty, dark side. It just is what it is. It's dark side shit. It's dark side parasites that make people do the things that they do. When you see the shootings and the stabbings and the just people going nuts, they're not in control. There's a parasite. There's possession on some level. And yes, this means most people have them. Why wouldn't they? What's to stop parasites from doing what they do? This is war. You know, very few of us get through without having parasites. I had parasites. I think I've met one or two people that didn't have a parasite. Like, seriously. It's like, it's just the levels and the grades of parasites. And depending on who you are as an incarnate and your overall potential as an embodied incarnate, the more attacks we get. Like I said, I had 7 near-death experiences, and I was sick on some level, ineffective, and living in hell my entire life. By the time I got to 37 or 38, I literally, all I could do was think about killing myself. And that's ultimately what they want. They want to eliminate us. They want us to die. They want us to kill ourselves. They don't want us here. If they cannot really control us, I wasn't controlled in any other way other than my physical body was completely disabled. Literally. I was literally disabled on disability, cannot work for almost 2 straight decades. I mean, I did have jobs here and there. I tried, and it's very difficult because of everything that was already in me, everything I was cycling. As a psychic physical empath, we're also, I forgot to mention, naturally giving our life force and helping and healing those around us. I did that without even knowing I was doing it. It wasn't until I had that magical other dimensional event that I ended up healing myself from that I was made aware of it. That it was like flashes of my life before, that just pieces of this incarnation of this life, animals, people, people that were sick or injured or whatever, and them getting better really quickly. And being told by my guides and guardians, well, it was actually the Archangels, it was you that did that. You healed them so quickly. You made them feel better. And I believed them. I knew it was true, but it was so weird to go 40 years of doing this, of being so sick myself, but at the same time healing others without even knowing that that's what I was doing. But that's what I was doing. Wild. But now I do it consciously. It's so much better. It's so much better. I don't feel, it's not willy-nilly with all the pain that I felt my whole life, just from picking up on people and feeling what other people feel in their body, in my body, headache, stomach ache, joint pains, whatever, multi-layered by all the people around me. I literally was disabled from it because it was just incoming all the time. And it was a complete chaotic shit show of being completely out of control and overloaded. But the parasites that I had were ones to disrupt the energy, not necessarily ones to take over and control me mentally and emotionally. Thank goodness I averted that. So anyhow, all of this is really important to understand because it is true. I wish it wasn't. I'm not here to deliver these messages for wanting to bring fear into the collective. I work very hard with and for people to eliminate fear. That's what my entire Soul Quest program is about, that I'm going to be doing a webinar for on Monday. It's eliminating our fears, our blocks, our triggers, our traumas, our programming, our illusions, so we can eliminate the ammunition to be used against us. And most people have a lot of different fears that have been programmed into us, either from just being told about stuff or experiencing stuff. We have a lot of fear, and all of those fears can be exploited. I come to you with this information to empower you with the knowledge of what is really going on in this world. And what it's going to take to change it is people of the light waking up, being guided by the light to fulfill their soul purpose for raising the vibration on this planet, for unifying us, for eliminating strife, for eliminating pain, for eliminating separation, for eliminating anguish, for eliminating lack. There's no reason why anybody in this world should be without food or shelter and the basic needs at the very, very, very minimum. There is no need for that. It is wild that shit goes on in this world. Dark side, right? Dark side. So what we need is a paradigm shift. And what that brings is higher consciousness. And what that means is that we become powerful with our light and our abilities and our energy to evoke change and to co-create a high level of consciousness and unity in the world. Now, let me just make it very, very clear. This is the kind of thing for our world to completely turn over, for all the strife and all the negativity and the control and the dark side and the parasites and all of this to completely cycle over, and this world to be a different one that it is. No money, no borders, no weapons. Everybody is psychic and telepathic. Neuralink, I'm sorry, Elon, you're a cool dude, but we don't need Neuralink. We're already psychic. We have a pineal gland, and all we need to do is decalcify it, heal it, activate it, and use it to connect. We have a crown chakra. We have a soul star chakra. We are energetic, absolutely powerful light beings in our bodies that have exponential power. Exponential power. Few have figured it out. They're called ascended masters. We are all able to ascend and master our frequency and vibration and live a lucid life of co-creation, manifesting instantly. We need to learn a lot to do that. There's a lot that needs to happen. decades and decades and decades to come. But it really begins now. Now is the time when more people are conscious than ever. We're more connected than ever. Yeah, there's a dark side to that. Yes, but so much light to tap into and to bring us together, to unify us, to work consciously as divine light beings. We don't fight the dark by fighting the dark. We fight the dark by being the light. We have to deal with the dark strategically, rationally, intelligently, connected, so we know what to do. Sometimes I'm guided to get really big with my power. And sometimes I'm guided to be very small with myself. Just all depends. It's not a bulldozer type of situation. But the way that we start to make changes in this world is by people stepping up and doing what they are meant to do. So again, segueing here finally, with all of this foundation for you to understand, is Robert F. Kennedy Jr., candidate for president of the United States. What is the United States exactly? What do we call that? A super duper power? There's like this, I saw this video the other day. It was like the United States with all of its assets in military and all of its bases around the world and all of its 8 billion carriers and Air Force and everything. It's like this step above superpower. And who is the president, or how is the president referred to as? The most powerful person in the world. Well, yeah, there's the deep state and there's those dark people that pull the strings, but ultimately we have the face of the person in charge, the most powerful person in the world. And what has that been like so far? Well, we all know what it's been like so far. It's been constant war, bullshit wars, all for what? Money. I know this isn't breaking news, but it's all dark side shit. That's for sure. So what's going to change that? A spiritually awoken light body. Incarnate. Enter Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Whether he knows it or not, he is a divine incarnate. I'm not going to say to what degree or exactly what. Even sharing this was something I wasn't sure that I was supposed to do. But it became very clear that I was supposed to. Months and months ago, maybe even years ago, he came into my consciousness during COVID and opposing vaccines the way that he did. And I mean, I was all for that. I knew it was poison. I was told by my guides, stay the F away from that. You are not getting that vaccine ever. And I didn't. And it sucks that that was all right, but it was. We know now how corrupt all that was. But that's when he first came into my radar. But there wasn't, it was like, oh, this crazy guy and blah, 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 whatever. And I'm like, all right, yeah, he's crazy. He seems to know what he's talking about. But that was basically it. The few times I saw him on anything, to be quite honest, was painful for me because of his voice. I have a real being, what I am, that I've already explained to you, as a psychic physical empath and feeling in my body what people feel in their bodies. I could feel the struggle that he had talking. And it was really hard for me to tune in and listen to him. I tried a few times. And then, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago, maybe less, somewhere around there, I'd have to look. He was on one of the comedy podcasts that I watch, and he was on Tiger Belly. So it was whenever he was on Tiger Belly, this all started. So that's easy to go back and look at. Because I was like, what? I mean, at this point, I'd already seen that he was running for president. But again, I didn't know much about him. What I heard, I was like, I mean, I am conscious enough not to make, decisions about people without really knowing them. I never really knew him. And like I said, it was hard for me to know him. But I did know he was running for president and that he was married to Cheryl Hines, who I've known and seen on TV, obviously. Awesome actress, super light. I think it's been told about her that she doesn't have anybody in Hollywood that doesn't like her, whatever. So of course they're together. Of course they are. They make a beautiful couple. But they were on Tiger Belly. And I was like, what? They're on Tiger Belly? And then I was guided to hunker down and deal with how it felt. And that was the first time I got to know Robert and Cheryl and their relationship and their story and why and who he was and what was he doing running for president and all of this stuff. Obviously a Kennedy, so that's extremely intriguing and fascinating, and it carries so much story and history and divinity. And then very soon and immediately it became very clear that I could also heal his voice. Like I've healed so many other people from so many other things. I did attempt on a Facebook group to make that known and reach out to his camp to let him know. I mean, I realize I'm this woo-woo psychic energy healer lady saying I could heal him, and, that they wouldn't understand. And basically I was kicked out of the group, that it was never posted. And it was like, okay, well, not today, pal, not today. But it didn't end there. I kept getting visions of him. And long story short, I got visions of him winning the presidency and other things that I am not supposed to reveal. That is very important to keep from people knowing about, I guess is the best way I could put that. But very positive, all very, very positive about his run, his candidacy, his campaign. And I shared a little bit of this in the X Spaces yesterday, last night after the debate, that, he has a lot of support in ways that nobody knows, or most people don't know, and most people cannot see. And that it's really important for him to be president because of the power that position holds. And just by listening to him and what he wants to bring into government, into the White House, and how he wants to shift and change things is all light-filled. Has been an advocate for the environment for a long, long time. I mean, the quintessential empath light warrior, super connected to animals, super connected to Mother Nature, fighting for Mother Nature, fighting for people and their health. I mean, it's really obvious the type of person that he is. But as a president, being able to affect our reality in such big ways. Now, I'm not saying that, he's perfect or I'm perfect or anybody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. We all have our whatever, we're all growing and evolving and shifting and changing. But he has been through his life up till now. And by the way, look how healthy he is. Holy moly. Amazing. That's another thing. Look at the health of this man. He is in better shape than most people half his age. It is amazing. And he's guided to be that way because he needs to hold all of that light energy. Your body needs to be a healthy body when you're embodying all this light. He talks about running for presidency not being something that he planned on, but something that he became very clear on needing to do because of what's been going on with the government, with the powers that be, and our world. And that is divine inspiration. That's divine guidance, moving a person to do something they didn't plan to do. I never planned to do this either. When it first started coming to me that I was going to be, broadcasting live all over the world and doing all this wild stuff with my life, at first I was like, oh, no. And I'm sure when that first came to Robert, it was the same with him too. He was like, no, I've got a thing I'm doing with my life. I'm cool. But when you're activated to be the divine incarnate that you're meant to be, to continue to spiritually awaken and help heal the world and raise the vibration of humanity, there is a thing that you kind of don't have anymore, at least to the degree that most people do. And that's called free will. I was just talking to somebody, one of my new clients the other day about this illusion of free will when you're a divine incarnate. I came to realize that a few years ago. I'm like, oh, so now that I'm awake and activated and embodied and all of this knowing business, I can't just be like, yeah, I don't think so. Peace out. I'm not going to do the things that I'm being pushed and guided to do that are going to help people, that are going to shift and change our reality. Nah, I'm just not. You know what? It's kind of a hassle and too much trouble, and all the opposition is just insane. Insane, the opposition. I mean, and look at Robert. Look at all the opposition that he's had for a long time. Why? Because he brings truth. And what is the dark side not like? Truth. They like lies and deception and corruption and toxicity and anything negative. You come in with the truth, that is extremely threatening. You try to dismantle the bad guy's business of making money? No, not okay. There's opposition there. This is the opposition that he's been experiencing for so long. Why? Because of the truth, because of who he is, because of who he is, because of who he is. Again, because of who he is. His whole life has been under opposition. And if you know him and you know his story that he's very open about, I mean, his father was assassinated in front of him when he was a child. Before that, his uncle. And I mean, and I'm not just him. I mean, he has brothers and sisters too. The whole happened to the whole family, but we're just talking about him, right? And he gets addicted. He had a parasite. He was addicted to heroin. What did he do? He was guided through that. He made it through that. He had a spiritual awakening through that. And he just went on his life being a warrior of the light. You can't call him any other thing than a warrior of the light. People who know him know that this is true. People who only know the lies about him don't know him at all. And that's the way the dark one likes it. They have opposed him in every which way that they can, from not having Secret Service to coming at him and opposing all of his qualifying for being, signatures for being on the ballots in all the states. He gets sued every single time. We know all the opposition. They didn't let him debate. Why all of this? Why? It's not just because the Democrats don't want him and the Republicans don't want him to be, in power, because they won't be in power. This goes deeper than that. Have we ever seen anything like this opposition against a candidate ever? No. Why? Because he is who he is. And the last thing that the dark wants is him to be president. But like I said, there is a lot of support that he has. And it is a reality. It is a real reality, a timeline that does exist where he does win. We need to support that. We of the light, we who want the truth, we who want change in the world, we who don't want wars anymore. We who don't want homeless people on our streets and people addicted and people poor and not having the health care they need and the food they need and things being crazy expensive and all the things. Sorry, I get emotional. I've never felt this before. This tremendous passion for anybody being a president in my life. I was like really excited about Obama being like the first Black president. I was like, yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. But I was also asleep, but he's not Robert. There's one Robert. There's one that is meant to change this world by being the president of the United States, by being who he is. And anybody who listens to him, and Dr. Phil said it last night, if people actually listen to you, do you have a perception problem? I think you have a perception problem. Because if people actually listen to you, and don't perceive what the illusion has been, the lies about you, and they listen to you, you're a very rational man who wants to do very good things and has done very good things. Literally writing the book on Fauci and COVID, on the vax, trying his hardest to bring truth to us all, to help us stay healthy. There really isn't anything anybody can say, look at what this man did, horrible, toxic, corrupt. The reason why they don't like him and the reason why he is the light is because he's uncorruptible. He cannot be bought. Problem for the dark, because they're all bought. There's that, like you make $150,000 a year, but you're worth multiple hundreds of millions. Some of these people, interesting. Not him. And they all know that. He cannot be bought, and everybody knows it. And he has to do everything the hard way. He's denied Secret Service. That's a blessing. He's denied all the ballot access. That's a blessing. He's denied being on the debate stage. That is a blessing. We know it's a blessing. We know all of these supposed blocks that the dark tries to put up only make him stronger. That, my friends, is the perfect example of being with, for, and by the light. Sure, he has to spend a lot more money on his own security, and it sucks. But how is that a blessing in disguise? Nobody around him is going to be bought to hurt him. I'm just saying. Plus, when President Biden refuses security for Robert freaking Kennedy, what does that tell the world? That helps people go, what? Right? Like everybody's like, what? What? You're a legit candidate and have been, and you of all people denied? Really? Why is that? Because the dark wants to eliminate him. So what does he do? He protects himself, and everybody around him protects him. Great. Same thing with the ballot business. He has to get 2 and 3 times the amount of signatures. Why? Because they come at him in court to try to disqualify those signatures. What does this do? This only makes him stronger. Again, just like the Secret Service thing, where it's like, what? What do you got to do? You not only not need to get the signatures, you need to defend them one by one to the point where you have to have 2 and 3 times the amount of signatures in order to be able to qualify. Nobody's ever had to do that before. Huh. Interesting. Debate? Oh, let's move it up by 3 months before any conventions or nominations. Let's make the rules impossible for him, even though he was the only one who actually is on any ballots. I don't know. Weird. And why? Because his biggest opposition owns all of it. Never, ever were they going to let him on that stage. Ever. Give him a platform. And what happened instead? He had a massive double the platform on X last night. Ultimately 5.5 million people tuned in live to see him in his own space that he had to create that was beautiful and amazing. And he hit homer after homer after homer. It was like a home run freaking derby last night because he is who he is. And this is going to continue. There's going to continue to be opposition. He's going to have to continue to maneuver around the dark and their bullshit, because him in that seat is a real problem for the dark side in all of the systems that are currently in play. And everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. Which is awesome. Makes me smile, because you know what that means? The world will change. It's going to take time. Like I said, it's going to take decades and decades. We'll all be long gone. We'll all be back here again and again with this mission in play, just further along, all of us in different spots doing what we need to do again and again. But it starts now. Well, it really started a while ago, but ball's really rolling now. And we need to, again, support this, support him, support his campaign, support everybody that supports him. And I beg of you people who love and want to support Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to not put any of your life force energy into anything negative that opposes him. Don't follow his lead. People, follow his lead. When any interviewer tries to get him to start talking shit on Trump or Biden, what does he do? He passes. He passes. He says, I'm not going to be a part of the vitriol. I'm not going to use my time and energy to sit here and talk in those ways and do that. That's him being him. Mirror that energy. We fight the dark by being the light, not by getting into fights with the dark, not by trolling or talking shit online or anything that has to do with him and his campaign needs to be light filled to support him, to support what he is going to do, and support everybody that's helping him do that. If we're injecting negative energy in and around him or anything to do with this, we are playing the game that the dark wants us to play, period. So please consider this. Take your energy and move it towards positive, light-filled action and behavior and speech and expression when it comes to Robert, because that's what he needs. That is what he needs. It's not going to help him at all to get into an argument with anybody online or in person about Trump or Biden or him or any of those things. We need to bring more people in to support him by showing and teaching about who Bobby is to whatever degree works for everybody and anybody. Do what we can to help people take some time to get to know him, because like Dr. Phil said last night, it's a perception problem. Why is there a perception problem? Because the dark created it. So we need to create expressions of who he really is for people to connect to that. That is what's important. That is what's going to help him. That is what's going to lift him. That is what's going to send all this, help with divine energy. And with that said, I am being guided to facilitate regular meditations, spirit walks, like I explained earlier, where we are working with divine beings and light and sending positive energy to him for his health and energy and protection, and to help others be inspired to get to know him and to support him. And I'm still working out exactly what that's going to look like and when that's going to be. I'm thinking that's going to be either daily or every other day, depending on how I can do this with my schedule. And it would be on Spaces, because it's just easier that way for me. I don't have to sit in front of the computer and have all the lights, and you don't really need to see me to follow my voice and to meditate. And in Spaces, I can just be on my phone and sit wherever I want to sit on the property and do these light-filled spirit walks for Bobby, because that's what I'm being guided to do. And the more of us that can meet every day, or even if you can't show up every day or whenever I'm guided to do it, you could do the replays, because that counts. And you could share that with other people. And I really, really encourage you to please follow me on all the platforms, because as soon as I have this locked down as to when I'm going to do it and schedule it and all that, I'm going to be doing them, whether there's 1 or 2 or 10 or 100 of us, or, that would be great, or more, that are meditating for this cause, for this purpose on a regular basis. We only have so much time before the election. It's really not that long from now. And we have to do everything that we can to help Robert get the votes that he needs and fight the dark with the light, and put him in, have that timeline that I saw so very clearly be the reality. Because it is there. It is there. Okay, let's check in here. Okay. Oh my gosh, my ears start popping, all this stuff. Okay, I'm gonna check in here with the with the chat. So we have Nicole on YouTube. Okay, so this was the last one that we saw a little bit ago. I was controlled by a parasite, hurting myself and my family for years. Like you said, I wanted to stop hurting them, but I literally couldn't. Exactly. I have been an addict for a large part of my life: drugs, depression, anxiety, relationships, and suicidal tendencies. Bouncing from one bad relationship to the next, I was being controlled by a parasite. Oh. Thank God I was led to you. You and Archangel Raphael cured me of the parasite after our conversation, and you informing me about the spiritual war, my rainbow healing, and joining your Unstoppable Empath program. I'm feeling so much better, and I cannot thank you enough. Oh, sweetie, I'm so glad. I live for that. I literally live for that. I'm addicted to that. I'm addicted to taking people from what she just said, that completely depressed. I mean, when we first got together, and we only did one healing, and she joined my Unstoppable Empath group, which is only $35 a month. It teaches you how to work with your energy cords. And let me share mine as well. Share that link with y'all. So, you may join us if you're so guided. It is about, we all have energy cords. Every relationship we've had, every experience we've ever had is a point in time. Our energy is connected to it. That is what PTSD is. I'll say it again. That is what post-traumatic stress disorder is. It is an energy cord that is active and constantly running to a traumatic event or events that we can, with whatever trigger, boom, instantly connect to and feel in our body, like feel everything about that. We are connected by a cord to our family members, to any friends, to any, especially, like I said, it was like any sex partners, any, romantic relationships. We are corded. That's the phenomenon of, I was just thinking about you, and oh, you called me, and knowing something's wrong with a loved one. And these are cords. They're invisible cords that are always cycling energy back and forth and back and forth. And this group, this course, it's a very short course, and I have weekly meetings, and I walk you through you doing your own energy work, you learning how to disconnect and reset energy cords that massively change what's going on in your body and how you're aligned energetically, and how much life force, specifically how much life force you have. We all have a battery. We all have a life force. The sicker we are and or older we are, the less life force we have. the stronger and healthier, more connected, and the least amount of energy cycling out from us at any given time, the more life force we have, the higher our vibration. And this is where we start to get into reverse aging. Because now you have so much life force, your organs are all good, your joints are all good, your skin's all good. You start to get like, I have way less wrinkles today at the age of 51 and a half than I did when I was 30 or not 40. I didn't have any wrinkles when I was 30. When I was 40, I did. And I did not look as good and as vital. I was sick and I was parasitic and I was overloaded with negative energy. Now, and I couldn't do anything. I was super weak, so weak. My life force, and still I was churning out energy and healing other people. It was crazy. But that is all part of energy work with your own energy cords. And energy cord work absolutely needs to be a self-directed thing, just like exercise, eating, sleeping, those things that you need to, nobody else can do it for you, right? Nobody else can go and exercise for you. Nobody else can eat for you or exercise for your sleep for you. Same thing with energy cords. That's something that you need to do for yourself, because if you were to hire me to walk you through that every time, it would get really expensive. So I teach you how to do it for yourself. And that's what this link will take you to, is learning all about that. I do have a couple of webinars on there, and that you can start at any time. It's ongoing, it's self-directed. I just help you and guide you through all that. So Nicole, first we had one session for understanding and recon and getting information and me channeling and figuring all the things out for her. And then we had another session, which was the rainbow light energy healing session that you can find on my website. And we had that session. We removed the parasite, and things have been very different. She started the Unstoppable Empath course directly after that, and she's doing great. She's doing amazing, and only getting stronger and better. So if that resonates with anybody, check it out. Like I said, it's only $35 a month. I practically give it away for what you get. And it is something that does take several months, just because it takes time to go through all your cord cuttings that need to happen and cord resets, because we all have many that are cycling that need to go. So it takes a bit. Okay, Karen, are you talking about Dr. Phil Valentine? Or Dr. Phil. I'm talking about the Dr. Phil. I don't know who Dr. Phil Valentine is. So yeah, Dr. Phil. Actually, now that interview with Dr. Phil, actually, let me do a couple of things. Let me give you a couple of links for those of you who, all this Robert Kennedy business is new to you, because, another thing too that I talked about in the space yesterday is that, for the most part, the spiritual world, the spiritual collective are not into politics and are not into elections and not into any of this stuff, because of how corrupt it is and how it never changes. In fact, we are basically told to not put not that there's any kind of indoctrination or like do this or do that, but we're basically like, we see it for what it is. And it's like, why would we put any energy or effort into any of that stuff? It never changes. It's all the same stuff. It's all run by the dark, and it is what it is. Humanity and consciousness needs to change in a different way. Well, now we have a different situation, because now we have, you're welcome, sweetie. So now we have Bobby. Now we have him that is changing everything. So now, I'm guided to pay attention to this and bring it to the spiritual community, so we can do our light work and our magic and help this cause to get him into the White House. This YouTube link that I just put up is for the 30-minute video called Who is Bobby? Or Who is Bobby Kennedy? Let me see. What does it say? What does it say? What's the title of it? Oh, Who is Bobby Kennedy? It's a great video that was put out a month ago that I highly suggest you take a look at. And then let me give you the okay, here we go. The Dr. Phil Robert Kennedy full video is now available. And let me give you that. But let me just say that, like I said in the beginning when I started talking about Robert here, that I got to know him from him being on a podcast from one of the comedy podcasts. He's actually really into the comedy scene, as have I been for years. He was on Kill Tony a few weeks ago when they were in at like the whatever stadium in LA. Kill Tony is one of the most popular live podcasts, comedy podcasts, or it is the most popular aside from like Joe Rogan's, but his isn't really a comedy podcast. But there are a ton of podcasts that Robert has been on, and which is fantastic because that is the way that people are going to get to know him. So I really encourage everybody who is new to this whole thing, who doesn't know who Bobby is, who barely paid attention, who, I don't know how many here are people who already follow and support Bobby. And I don't know how many people are here who are like, oh my God, Infiniti is talking politics. What is happening? And probably surprised that I know all this stuff. As somebody who works with people all around the world as a divine incarnate, I am very much guided to be aware of worldly events to a certain degree and know what's going on, like I said, and especially now. So I have watched a ton of Bobby's appearances on podcasts and shows. I could go out and campaign for him, I think, at this point. But I encourage you to watch these podcasts because he is so open and honest about his journey, about his addiction, about his spirituality. He meditates every day. He's a falconer. Instead of putting pesticides on his garden, he buys ladybugs. He's just a all around what you would, imagine, just beautiful light being who loves nature and the environment and humanity. And that really comes out in his interviews that he has that are more long form. His knowledge of the systems of government and work, as he's worked as a litigator, as a top litigator in the environmental field against not only private corporations, but also government agencies, there's a huge long list of his experience with all of this. He talks about these different things depending on what podcast he's on, from farming and agriculture to more, maybe personal stuff and spirituality and pretty much everything in between. You can spend the next several days watching videos of Bobby. And if his voice bothers you, trust me, you can get past it. You do get used to it. It's not something that's going to continue to irritate you. Like I said in the beginning, it did, just because of, I think it does for people. You can feel and hear his struggle. And again, if anybody is watching who knows him or is in his sphere, I really, really can heal his voice. And I would love to do that. I really would love to do that. So you're welcome. Thanks. I will watch, Karen says. And at this point, everybody, I think that I have gone over as much as I intended to or was guided to today, giving you the background of the spiritual war and the importance of Robert F. Kennedy Jr., his campaign and presidency, how important it is for us to really come together, to unite, to put, what else do we have to do besides work and family? And yeah, okay. But help shift our reality. And that in this current paradigm, we have governments, we have borders, we have institutions and corporations, we have those people like lobbyists that want things a certain way to control the world and pay, and people are bought and paid for and all of these things. And we have somebody who isn't any of those things, who is the opposite of those things. And we only have this finite amount of time to support him in this campaign, for him to live out his soul purpose in this way. We have many different types of soul purpose. It's not just one thing we're put in these incarnations to do, but there are the bigger ones. And this is such a big one, such a big one, and like I said, I've never been so passionate in my life. There's never been this situation before. For me to get political, if that's what this is, I don't really see it that way. I mean, I can. But it's super important for us to use our divine light and spirit and all the support that comes with each and every one of us to come together, to coalesce, to unite, and to feed the river of energy that goes to Bobby, that goes to his campaign, that goes to everybody that works with him on all levels. And like I said, I'm going to be hosting regular Spirit Walk events with this in mind. And I hope that all of you that are watching, and I thank all of you for being here, are motivated to join me as much as you possibly can, and to get other people to get on board. This is the day and age where people are talking about energy and vibes and meditation and holistic healing and the woo more than ever before. And now we need to direct that in this way. And even after he's in office, continue to support him in whatever ways, but we got to go one step at a time. So first we need to get him there. We need to get him in the seat. And then whatever is meant to happen after that will happen after that. Please let me know if anybody has any questions about anything thus far. Please bring it on. And thank you so much, Nicole, for sharing all of that with everybody. I really appreciate it. And you can go to my website there's video testimonials and written testimonials from my previous clients. If you happen to want to explore my groups or working with me one-on-one, I have one-off sessions for healing. I have long-term plans and programs of all sorts of various degrees. Most of what I do is donation-based, and I take payments, and I have this whole thing set up. It's really, really awesome what I'm set up to do. I wish I didn't need money to pay for my life, but I do. So I require payment to do what I do. It's all that I do. This is my life. So if you're guided to that, and I also offer free consultations for you. If you're like, I do need help. I am unhealthy. I do have chronic illness or pain. I am stuck in my life. I do have addiction or whatever that it may be. But I don't know what exactly I should be doing. Schedule a consultation with me. But let me tell you that for the next few months, my space is limited for both one-off sessions and consultations. So if anybody is interested, please book sooner than later. Because if you go to my website, it is a limited space for that, because I do all these other, I do groups. I have long-term plan clients that I see, and I only have so many available spots any given day. So I encourage you to, move forward with that quicker than not, so you don't have to wait if you do want to work with me. Thank you so much. Love and appreciate you. Oh, I love and appreciate you, honey. So glad you're here. Thank you for sharing again. All the hearts. Thank you so much. I'm going to leave those up because I still only have 2 hearts. That's okay. Lastly, what I'm going to do is an oracle for us all. I'm going to close this out. I'm going to close this live out, and I appreciate everybody for being here. I'm going to do a general oracle for everybody and for this whole thing and about this campaign and Bobby, and we'll just see what comes up. We'll see. I wasn't even sure that I was going to do this. Let me just tap in here and see all of these back here. If you can see, these are all oracle. I have some tarot decks too, but they're all oracle decks. And I do live sometimes too. I do pop-up lives where I can get oracle readings for you. And I usually either do those for free or for a really small donation. So 1 second here while I tap in. See which, hi puppies. And puppies think that they totally understand everything. She's like all pissy. Do you want me to let you go outside? Yes? Okay, I'm gonna let my dogs out and I'll be right back. Okay, Bubbles. Come out this way. Come here. Puppies. Get the door open so they can come in. Okay, let's see what we're meant to do here. Oh, that was fast. No, I'm not going with you. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. You go do you. We'll go out in a little bit. I promise. I promise. I promise. I promise. I promise. No, stop. You guys. Okay, you need to stop. Go. Stop. Okay, we're going to go with the light worker oracle. This is the book. And if oracle is new to you, you've probably heard of tarot. It's similar to tarot, except for every oracle deck is different. So like I have, this is a mermaid oracle, and I have a fairy oracle and an angel oracle and a dragon oracle and divine feminine and dragon and fae and nature and Lumeria and all of these, so each oracle has its own theme and messages, very different from tarot. Really, it's about divination. It's about receiving divine information and guidance, and it comes with a book. So each card has a description, and I read those descriptions, and through that, anything else might come through that is connected and attached to that, and whether it's for the collective or an individual. So I'm going to go ahead and I have got to have some tiny little thorn in my skin here because I only hit it every so often, and woo, it hurts. I live in Northern California near Mount Shasta on a mountain on almost 13 acres. And there are so many different types of thorny things here. So many that get stuck in me and my clothes and my animals. It's like my hobby. Practically. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I am going, oh, Michelle, thanks so much. Love and a wonderful night from both of us. Oh, thank you so much, Michelle and Sandra in Canada. Another one of my clients. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for being here. I love you too. I'm just going to go out here a little bit so we have more space. My dogs have lost their patience with waiting for me today. They're only puppies. They're German Shepherds. They're not litter mates, but they're both 18 months old. I have a female and a male, and they're and I have a gaggle of cats as well, of course. Shocker, right? I've rescued a lot of cats. They just come to my house. I don't go searching. But anyway, my puppies are pretty demanding with the with the need for attention, but they're all, as you can see, they're very good. Very, very good. Good babies. Smart babies. Okay. Sometimes I have to shuffle quite a lot. Kind of clear the energy here. I'm going to sage these two real quick. And again, thanks for everybody being here. I really appreciate it. I was super excited about this live, and I love seeing this turnout. People across the platforms joining me on Facebook and YouTube and X. If you're not on X, or I'm new to X, it's not like it doesn't feel like the Twitter of old. I mean, it's different, and you can dictate your own experience. It can be negative if you want it to be. Anything can be, but I'm finding it to be really, really cool. And anyway, I encourage any of you who are not on X to follow me there. At We Are Healing Pod. And that is probably where I'm going to end up doing my daily meditations. So if you want to join in on that, you're going to have to get on X. But I'm pretty sure you can get on X and not use it on your phone and just use it on the desktop. So you don't have to be a mobile user. Okay. I'm going to get a card now. So I'm going to focus here. So what I do sometimes, instead of shuffling the whole way through, I separate the deck, and then I'm guided to one or the other. And I keep doing that until we're left with just a few, and then I pick one. So that's what we're going to do this time. Whoopsie. Okay, and then we have 5 cards. I get a little OCD here for a minute. Bear with me. I can't help it. Okay, we're going to go with this one. Put the rest in the pile. Let's come back here. Hello, everybody. Okay. And what do we get? Whew, card number 42, which immediately is the opposite mirrored number of 24, which is our year, light code. 5th ray of intellectual knowledge. Let me see if I can. There's just not a lot of light pointing to. Oh, there we go. That's my problem. 5th ray of intellectual knowledge. I will be posting this on all the platforms. Well, there's 2. There's X and there's Facebook. I will be posting this on X and Facebook. So you can take a closer look at it. But we have this woman here in the center. She's very hippy dippy woo woo. And then we have all these people kind of around her that are not. I have not ever seen this card before. This is actually a really fairly new deck to me. So I'm really interested. Ooh, almost right to it. Look at that. Card 42 on page 121. Here we go. So, oh gosh, is there a lot here? Not too much. I will read this. I also receive while I'm reading, so I just need to. Okay. Fifth ray of intellectual knowledge. The fifth ray of intellectual knowledge has come to you as a spiritual gift. You are being given the ability to find information you need, understand systems that impact your life, and find clarity in any issue that has seemed unclear or overwhelming. You shall sort the truth from the lies and learn what you need to know. The Archangel Raphael now assists you in integrating the blessings of the fifth ray. You are distilling a new truth. It might be the truth of discernment, where you realize the appearance of a person, group, or cause is misleadingly different in the inner reality. Discernment is incredibly important on the spiritual path. All the more so you open up to work with energies, with teachers and teachings, and sort out all issues in your life according to your spiritual principles. Discernment is not judgment, but it does allow you to make informed decisions based on frequency. When you choose to associate with people who are on a higher frequency, everyone benefits. If you choose to associate with people on a lower frequency than your own, you may feel your life moving more slowly, becoming harder than it needs to be. Discernment helps you navigate through illusions and find the real gems. It helps you step back from those who say they want to support you, but who actually just wanted to take and not give in return. The fifth ray helps you choose wisely and sever unhealthy connections. Well, you know what? I'm sorry. I just have to say, haven't I just talked about all of this? I love how the Oracle backs me up every single time. It's magical. Okay, continuing. This ray also comes to you when there is more to something than meets the eye. Also talked about that. Okay, I'll stop. You will be given the power to discover and understand the truth. Wait until the truth clicks inside of you. I call it the ding and the dong. Really simple. And this is, I'm a human lie detector, and it's because I always have been, but not my whole life did I really trust it. So it's the ding and the dong. You hear something, you feel something. Is this true? Is it somebody lying? Is somebody denying? Is this false? Is this just straight up bullshit? Is it real? Is it true? Does it, whatever. You feel the ding or the dong straight in the heart chakra, and it's just a vibration. You just know it. And the best thing to do is go with that because it's never wrong. Okay, continuing. Okay, wait until the truth clicks inside you. Until then, keep looking deeper until you unravel the mystery. The fifth ray will help you to do so successfully. The challenge with the fifth ray is to remain open-minded as you find your clarity. Very true. Be willing to find more information if you need it. The right answers will come. Be willing to change your viewpoint in order to perceive the truth of the matter. If a system is working for you, that's great. If it needs to be changed, don't be afraid to go into the chaos of creativity and try different ways until you discover what will work better for you. The fifth ray has a special connection to the worlds of science. Therefore, you are encouraged to be an observer in your life, to experiment with what does and does not work for you. You are invited to pursue any form of science that is of interest to you, whether this be learning nutritional science or quantum physics, the chemical composition and healing effects of essential oils, or researching meditation and healing. If these are not of interest to you, it could be simply the application of scientific mindset in your life. I think we're missing an A there, but that's okay. in that case, become methodical in areas that can benefit from systems, habits, and structures that replicate desired results. Apply this approach to your exercise regimen, your meditation practice, and any other aspects of your lifestyle that maximizes your potential and supports your best possible life path. I always call them the highest possible timelines. We have within the web of life and the quantum timelines and possible timelines. And I talk about timelines, and we work with timelines, collapsing, solidifying, and creating timelines. So this is talking about doing what you need to do to approach your life in a way where you're constantly connected to your highest possible timelines. That's also when you work with yourself energetically and spiritually, transmuting density and negative energy and replacing that with high vibe energy, you're automatically going to be connected to higher vibrational timelines. When this talked about either being associated with higher vibrational people or lower vibrational people, what that does with us. And we talked about this earlier. Okay. Then there's this invocation about the fifth ray. So I'm going to go ahead and read it. I now accept of my own free will the blessing and grace of the fifth ray of intellectual knowledge. I call upon the grace and assistance of the universe and Archangel Raphael to help me discern truth and find the information and understanding that will enable me to feel peace and experience penetrating insight in my life. I am thankful for the gifts of intelligence and understanding that help me live my best life in service to love. May knowledge serve the liberation of all beings through unconditional love and divine mercy. Through my own free will, so be it. Now, wow. You can rewind this when we're done and listen to that again in your own time if you're in alignment with this. But as we talked about Robert and how he brings the truth, and how he also, there's a part here where it says, be willing to change your viewpoint in order to perceive the truth of the matter. If you know Robert, you know that that's what he does. He talks about this. He talks about, I had a position, I was open to information, I changed my viewpoint. And that is somebody who is spiritually awoken. We're not so married to what we think we know to be true that we're not willing to expand and shift and evolve. The whole point of spiritual awakening is evolution, is to evolve. To evolve is to change our perception and our viewpoint, or we're not evolving, right? So that is, by definition, somebody who is spiritually awoken, somebody who is in it to expand and to change themselves. And to be open to that. So that's part of this too. And everything that we talked about, me saying all of these different things, I wish that I could, aside from me talking about the spiritual war and parasites and all this, most people don't know what I know or talk about what I know. They see things in different ways, but me being who I am, as a divine archangel incarnate, I am connected to, and I know things, and I've been shown things, and I've experienced things, and I know what's going on, so I can bring it to other people so they can say, oh, now it all makes sense. Now I can, process that. It's still not easy to accept all that it is, but it is the truth. And your discernment about the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it may be, because yes, it's not uncomfortable, or it is uncomfortable to think of a spiritual war and dark forces and people that are possessed and entities and parasites. And yeah, like nobody likes that. Who likes that idea? I've yet to meet somebody who's like, awesome, this is so great. Like everybody's like, oh God, like really? But yeah, really. And if you're at all paying attention to the world and you see people do what they do, And if you've known people who are narcissists and addicts and people who cannot control themselves and people doing evil shit in the world, and you go, how and why? This is how and why. And understanding the truth is the ultimate for us. The truth of who and what we are, the truth of our reality and what other people are and what is going on in the world is how we navigate consciously. The difference is being asleep consciously, like most people are, who have no perception of what's beyond the veil, what is outside of our vision. And it's a lot. There is so much in the natural world and in the universe that we cannot see that is there. It's more than what we can see. I'll say that again. There is more in the natural world, in the unseen, than there is in the seen. More, exponentially more. And we can connect to that and work in that field very consciously with all sorts of beautiful divine beings helping us, working with us, healing us, guiding us in the most productive and practical ways that you can imagine. It's not all rainbows and unicorns and woo light work and crystals. It's very practical for living this life and maximizing your life and being as aware. Remember, I said this before: aware, rational, logical, stable. I mean, we have to live in on both sides and navigate how that works as we move forward, as our world shifts and changes to support how we are evolving and changing, because our reality does change as we change. It's impossible for it not to. It's literally impossible, and it's the point. So the point here is balancing ourselves energetically, being as healthy as we can possibly be. So if we have mental, emotional, physical, or energetic chronic situations, we're impeded. We're not at all living in any way to maximum capacity and power and abilities. That needs to be fixed. And we need to strive to know and see the truth. Because anything that's not the truth is a lie and is false. And that equals dark. So ascension and spirituality isn't about necessarily comfort. It's about truth, and it's about rebirth. And truth and rebirth can be very uncomfortable and stuff we don't want. And this is why it's so hard, because it's by definition difficult. Rebirthing is difficult. Think of the birthing process. It's difficult. It's messy and it's painful at times. And the truth is not always what we want it to be. I wish that all these truths that I brought you here today, most of them were not true. I really, really do. It would make life a whole lot different and easier. We're just not there yet. These things are true. And the more that we accept them as true, the stronger we become. Again, like I said before, it's not to put fear in anybody. It's to put knowledge and awareness so you can be stronger, so you can understand what's going on and what's all in play. And still, it takes time. Me just telling you, if this is all new to you, me just bringing it to you this one time you're gonna walk away from this and it's gonna be this weird, dreamy, like, what happened there? And did I hear, it's like, you may even forget about this. I don't know. Weird things happen when it comes to all of this, because people's consciousness either reject and like pop out like a toaster that pops out a piece of toast. Like, nope, you're not going to stick. And I don't want to know that. My consciousness rejects that. I don't want to live in a world that is like that. So I deny the truth and I live in illusion. Everybody has their own story to write and experiences to experience. I bring in the truth, and we work through that, because that is where the light is, even if things are uncomfortable. The more that we discern truth, the stronger that we are, period. So I think that's all, everybody. I want to thank you all for being here. I love this oracle card. It's so on point, because we need to be intellectually plugged in, as well as very spiritually plugged in, and working with ourselves in ways that bring us higher and higher and higher in this reality. And really, it is sky's the limit. There are no limits here. There are programs and illusions, fears and triggers and limitations that we have subscribed to and we are programmed by. And it's up to us to decide to break free from that matrix or not, to live in abundance and love and unity and divine connections and spirituality and our evolution, or not. And I'm not saying if anybody chooses not, that you've chosen wrong. You've chosen exactly what you need to do for you. I don't judge anybody. I don't force anybody. I don't convince anybody. I don't pull or push anybody. That would defeat the purpose. The light doesn't do that. The light is just the light. So with that said, everybody, thank you so much for being here. As always, thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are amazing. I really appreciate all of your energy and being here and listening to all of this. I'm almost done. And I'll see you next Friday for the next installment of the We Are Healing podcast. If anybody is interested, please join the Facebook group for this podcast. Follow my page, subscribe to my website, reach out if so guided if you want to work with me directly. And don't forget, I will be here on Monday to bring you the Soul Quest program. And that webinar is at 6 p.m. on Monday. Until then, everybody, keep your ears and your eyes peeled for when I announce that I'm going to start my, I think, daily or every other day meditations for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and sending him as much love and light for his road to the presidency. And I hope that I've inspired you to look into him, to support him, to get to know him, and ultimately vote for him come November 5th. And I'll see you guys soon. Love you all. Bye for now. Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend. Bye.